their bicycle, the red mud will block the bicycle. Nothing, you will not pass with anything. You will just come out your shoe and begin march that red mud to reach your house. So let government help us. We are suffering. Let government help us. Because we are not in any government present in my community. I don't know whether we are part of a river state. We hear because if you go to this Igbo side, they will say, river state, full river state. That's why we are not experiencing, we are not seeing it in our community. Let the government come and help us. Because this our road, it's the express. Express road, easy to road, it's our road. Why not government to remember that road and walk it? Not that they are not seeing the road, they are seeing it. Let them help us in that. So see that that road, we walk freely with that road. About our school, we are not talking about school again. We are not talking about life again. I don't know. Let government help us in that. No life, no school.
What has your chairman said so far about Rumodogo 1?
No, I don't see. I don't even know whether we see that local government again. There's the local government help us and get that road. The local government say 2 weeks the light will come out. 2 weeks to the government. See now, we never even know anything about the light again. We never even hear about the light. See like that in Delhi. Rumuji no light. Rumodogo no light. Rumodogo no light. Anaku no light. Iba no light. Obele no light. No light anywhere in Amoa. I don't know. I don't know the project the chairman will do in the government. Where is living? I don't know. Nothing. So this kind of thing is no good for a co-chairman not to do anything in where is ruling. So I don't know. What government use the light the way what does it bring light? Local government cannot do anything about the light. So I'm surprised. So what's happening at the Rumuji? That's the Rumuji market. I tell you. I see police. That police are free. No, maybe they go for school. So you don't pay work free. Police you fail for the front of police.
Why?
People.
Why?
For front of police, people they thief. Something. If I want to tell you one time where they kidnap people for front of police. This time now openly people gather for market on front of police. Police cannot do anything. They carry everything where they carry. Police lock their gate, which is very bad. I surprised when I see this thing because we are in the same down with the market. All these things happen. So no police intervene. Say, make them come out. Nobody. All of them begin to enter. Go their hand. Not be easy to station because they give the body to enter station. All of them on the way. Some of them follow fence and run away. I'm surprised. No, not government help us.
Okay.
Because this is quality. If the police is not ready to command this quality, this is for not happen like this. One police go here, this all of them go run away. Why? So how the one that will do? We want to carry gun. Or if they go where they carry, they don't go use that. Make them grab and now. They will not say boys now they carry gun. So I surprised. The other day,
Burma, you need to wrap up now, please.
Yes, I go in the port. Only jerrycan, ordinary jerrycan no put for bike, one put for motor. You know the man from Eleba collect 1,000. Say where they carry this jerrycan go. I won't go buy crazy. He say na you. Say na we dey. Before I know it, the man say make I call that for motor with his driver. You know it, the man don't bring gun. Don't bring gun. Then go happen in at the Araba. I say I know that I go come in there at the Araba. If I don't bring money, I don't go shoot me gun. Okay, people there. If I bring gun, then go up in the military. Fast. I say, you don't have problem. I say, take 1,000 because I don't want to person see me like that. I say, see 1,000. I don't want that at the man shop. I know that I want to go play one place. So,
all right.
Government help us.
All right.
Let us promote this problem in our advantage.
Okay. All right, Burma, I have to let you go there. 95.1 FM, good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening to you. God's
now
time.
This man make me call on to this one with my problem.
Ew.
Ew. My bro, man, I God go solve this problem for you. Man, I go feed you up. This person, they cry for radio every day. Government, you know, they hear up. Buki, bye-bye.
All right. Thank you very much, Oga Time. He came into, feels bad for Iwaburama and his community. But I believe that something will be done very soon. I'm very positive about that, especially for those at Rumodogo. And at Rumoji, I thought they were working on the lights already. What happened? Is it that the pace is really very, very slow or something else? Or probably they've stopped or something came up. Please, I would love to know what's going on there. Good evening.
Hello, good evening.
Good evening to you. Welcome.
Yeah, this is William Solari. I'm calling from Rumukoshi Pipeline.
Welcome.
Okay. It's concerning the insecurity matters in River State. I think it's getting out of hand.
Oh, really?
The police authorities in River State are just here to do, but they are not yet to do their work.
Don't you think OSPAC is actually doing a good job in collaboration with security agencies?
Definitely, because they are concerned about the well-being of people. They're not like the police.
But they're working with the police, of course.
Some of the serious police, I think maybe it's because the government mobilized them financially. But what about the area whereby the OSPAC are not being able to reach? Young people are still suffering insecurity in River State, and it's not even getting to the radio, neither even to the newspaper. So a lot of us suffer insecurity in River State here. A lot of people suffer insecurity. And the matter here is getting seriously out of hand. I mean, hearing robbery, kidnapping every day is not. But it's turning the state to something else. Even if you have money, you want to invest, you want to even put your money to use in a River State, you think it won't be safe. Maybe going to another state.
But let me ask you something. Based on what Emenike and Iwaburama called in to say regards the alleged robbery at the Rumuji market, well, I would love to look at it from this angle, and I don't know if you would see something out of it. Because these guys are known for going about kidnapping people, doing things worse than what they did. And now, if they have to have food stuff and clothing and some other things, don't you think the security agency has really clamped down on them so hard that going back to what they usually do to make whatever it is they make out of it, don't you think to a large extent the police have done something about it, and that's why what they're actually struggling for right now is just to feed themselves?
No, I don't really see that way.
Okay.
The investor is themselves to feel unsafe that way. Because by the time you started attacking somebody through the goods and services they are rendering to the state, they feel unsafe. It might not just be the money now, but you are attacking their goods too. They also feel unsafe.
Okay.
So I don't think the police have fully clamped them down to the extent it should be.
Oh dear. I'm sorry. I just needed to get your thoughts on that one. Good evening.
Hello?
Good evening to you.
Good evening, my sister. I work with you now.
Works good. Thank you.
My name is George. I'm calling from M1 local government area.
George, you're welcome.
I just have a good news.
Yeah, now hit us.
Based on my community, from my work community.
What happened?
I am telling you that please come back to.
Hey, Chineke. Why now? Huh? Please call back George. Oh, George. I love the good news. I love positive feedback. I love to hear good things happening. Because it seems like I was actually... Okay, let me not get down that part. But well, meanwhile, the Vigilante Group of Nigeria, they've called on security agencies, political and stakeholders to be mindful and investigate some individuals who actually go about parading themselves as the Vigilante members. 95.1 FM, good evening.
Good sister.
B.O.B., you're welcome.
Well, good to hear your voice again.
Same here.
How your weekend?
Very well, thank you.
Gucci. You see, there's a proverb that says that if you carry another man's corpse, it will look to that person like a log of wood until they carry
Yes.
yours own. You see, it does not, to me, that you are going to Umuchi does not mean that me, I'm not from Umuchi, that it doesn't, I don't feel bad. But my concern is army in Umuchi.
Your concern is what?
That army people do Umuchi, that life camp, that Greenfield, army day, and police station day there. Like we said, if we gold, we rust, what will iron do? Where you have army, company do. Two company, total get army. Greenfield, yeah, get army. 20 army with big gun and dog. And then police station, if that kind of community cannot be secured, that people can come out broad daylight in the market, shoot. Somebody said it's 1 hour. 1 hour maybe 1 minute or 10 minutes. 1 hour and you can drive 1 hour from Port Harcourt, maybe even go to Bayata. There's no traffic. That's because the agency feed the road from Ahoda to Omele, collecting money. And then somebody can just go in the broad daylight, shoot, carry good, carry rice, carry everything you need to carry, and go away. See, Uchi, I found the mountain, and then tell you, to me, it's enough for the public to carry placard. Let us know that there's no police. How can police be in Uchi? And if Uchi, company, there is a guide company. You cannot secure that. So my joy is that we shoot human beings. That's just my joy. If they carry food, they carry whatever they carry, and it's not reported that no human being died. That's just my thanks to God. But it is not good. Let us call a spade a spade. Okay. What is bad is bad.
Okay.
It is not good though. And for me, government should not give police any motor. It don't give them any motor. It should not give them any logistics to do more. Instead, they should give it to us back. They should only last time when governor president governor entered seat and they saw him, governor brought out 60-something kilos, new ones. Which like no logistics for them to crime. All these people know what they do it. Then if governor want to, governor should not give police any logistics again. They should stay in their station. It is even what they said that they close their gate. Look at they close their gate and run away. And they are hearing gunshots. Then who will the public run to?
All right.
You know? So government should not give them logistics again. Government should give it to HOSPAC.
Right.
HOSPAC has enough money. And even build stations for them along that road. For my friend that government should build offices along this west road for HOSPAC. And to get more logistics for them. Because they are the one that to match strength to strength. Like my area. One thing like that, a big scale you talk about this one time actually. He said it's ready for them. If you going about it, they have to anywhere they shoot each other. That means inside army. They cannot run away. They must think they come to village again. They need pepper.
All right.
Fire for fire.
All right.
So they are not, it's like people are just watching them, and that's why they are doing what they are doing. So government should not give police any of this. That's our own talk.
All right. Thank you very much, BOB. 95.1 FM. Good evening.
Hello, Bushi.
Hello. Good evening.
Good evening. Hello.
Welcome.
Did you see you rain?
Is this Precious?
Yes, so it's me.
Okay, Precious. Welcome.
Thank God, though, I just got you today. Just imagine, I will call like 60 times. I will not get you for either song.
Thank God. Thank God. It got through
Bushi,
today.
see, my house. Why even start our house? I don't even know who to talk about. My house is flooded, though. See this rain. Rain has entered my house.
Where is your house again, please?
Eh?
Where?
In Omoko now.
Omoko.
In Alo.
Okay. Precious, are you there?
Because of this road, though, for over 2 months now, nothing is happening on our road again. Over 2 months, nothing is happening on this Omoko road. The road is just, they have abandoned our road. That is why this rain don't fall this evening. Everywhere in the village is flooded, people's houses. And I just pity those persons that are not at home or that will not even come back this today or the week or within the week. So I don't even know. The other day I was trying to call. I said I don't even know whether it's the contractors that are holding the job or the government or whatever. they should come and help us. At least now that they've started to do something for the first time, they should try and help us to finish the road. Even the other for our sister community there, nothing. Those people, their own is even the worst. So I don't even know. Look at just how many days. Only today that rain fell, this kind of heavy rain. I know as at last month to the other heavy rain that fell, the same thing happened. Now in this June.
Oh dear. Precious, sorry we lost you there. Good evening.
Hello?
Hello, good evening.
Good evening. It was network failure. George, calling from M1.
All right, George, thanks a lot for calling back. Go ahead.
Please, it is about Romeo community in Odeg, Islam.
Yeah, and it's a good news.
Yes.
I'm listening.
Yes. The good news is that those staff people in my community, I think I give them kudos for them to make sure that they have restored peace in the community. And as I'm talking to you, those miscreants, those corrupt people, the Greenlanders and whatever thing they call them, they are calling on the community for them to forgive them. And based on the stand of the community told them that they don't have issue with them, that the issue they have now is with the government. That whosoever person that has been involved in killing one person or the other is going to pay
is that what your community are saying?
Yes.
So they don't just want them to sign or go for any peace accord. They want them to pay for their crimes?
So yes, let them pay for the crime. Let them pay for the crime because they have murdered innocent people. They have caused a lot of havoc. People who came to develop, who came to build their houses, their business, have run away from the community. But as I'm talking to you now, I traveled home and a lot of people are in the community celebrating. There was good celebration in Romeo community over the restoration of peace because as it stands in Odeg Islam, Romeo community is one of the most peaceful communities in Odeg Islam. And I want to urge those my brothers and my sisters who flee because of this boy. They should come back home. They should come and do their normal businesses. And I think that the chiefs and elders who have contributed, the chiefs and elders and the youth who have contributed to make sure that peace come back to Romeo community, I give them kudos to them.
Wow.
Thank you all.
Thank you very much, George, for calling in. Okay, that's one of its kind. I know some communities that just went ahead for a peace accord. But George is saying his community, Rume, were taking a stance that as much as you want a peace accord, you want to sign the peace accord, you want to make peace, you are sorry for everything you've done, you have to pay for the crimes you committed in the past. That's actually one of its kind. And, well, let's see what comes out of that. 95.1 FM, good evening.
Hello, good evening.
Good evening to you. Welcome to Area Talk.
Good evening, my sister. I'm Sidiaski from Emoa.
All right, good to have you. What part of Emoa?
Only from my brother.
All right, go ahead.
I'm pleading on NDDC. This is our solar light. As come and help us and change the battery. Because from village to inside community, when is dark, it's no good. I'm calling on them. I'm calling on if we need that, come and help us and change the battery to restore the solar light back for us. And secondly, also, this light of the thing, I don't know what to say. I don't know whether we have one local government chairman or not, or one local government chairman on our council. We are not part of River State. I don't know what to say. For how many years now we don't have light? Everybody is complaining. My brother from Dele and make me all the right. They are complaining. I don't know. Look at Emoha. Look at where we are. We are not far from there. They should restore light for us. I don't know what to have done. Last time the chairman came to the station there and said that in 2 weeks time they will restore power to Emoha. Now, I don't know that was only two local government have in this state. Being Faga and Nubiako. That's where something is happening. But apart from that two local government, other place, I don't know what to say, but God will help us. God will help us. God will help us in this state.
All right. Thank you very much. Says God will help us. Good evening.
Hello, good evening, Buchi.
Good evening to you. Welcome.
Wow, this is Comrade EU and calling from
What's up, boy? It's good to have you on the program, Comrade EUNS.
Thank you, Buchi. Buchi, we know that security summit has been the order in River State for now.
Okay.
I want to inform you and the general public that the Iburu clan of Onega,
Mm-hmm.
just the Iburu, that's the monarch of Iburu clan, have formed the community, for the community health, the Ochioha, the CDCs and the youth for informing. And in that one, Eziburu, we know Iburu has been used to peace. I mean, peace in Onega, they talk of read or how peace is Iburu. But also they affirm, they are reaffirmed that despite the peace we are enjoying, we are not seeing the presence of government. The Governor Wike has said it that a community that we give him peace, he will make that community headquarter of development. And Hebrew clan in Onega is one of those communities that are giving peace to Onega and River State. He's calling on the governor to please, let us start seeing development in Hebrew clan. And one thing we see that he mentioned that touched me was the issue of the community secondary school. You know, while we were in that meeting, he mentioned in particular that he is calling on the governor to visit that community school. I was even informed that for 15 years, that school has not received any government attention.
15 years.
15 good years.
Mm.
After that school was burnt down by some group of boys from all party community, that school has remained like that. He mentioned it and I was like, wow, maybe His Majesty might have been listening to our program. And now, I believe now that he has joined us in this call for renovation and keeping that school to stand and that the governor will do the needful. Which last week you were asking of vocational skill or institution in Nigeria.
Yes, and communities.
I believe you've not forgotten so quick that I've been mentioning the uncompleted skill or vocational skill acquisition center, which is the governor, when he was Minister Junior of Education, he built along almost Wotiabu Road. That structure there is only, I don't know what to call it, whether a farm land or call it cow ranch or whatever. That's all we have from there.
Initially, what was actually going on there? What were they training people on?
No, it was a proposed vocational skill training center.
Okay.
All we can just see there is that the building has the roof, but right now, the occupant of that building is no other than all kind of farm or bush animals. Nothing is happening there. And I believe that this is one place that the governor of State can kickstart the training that mega people are yearning for. At least put that place in order and allow people to gain skills through that particular professional training center.
Okay.
But I am very aware that Onega for now is the Prince of Peace in River State.
Prince of Peace.
When I say Prince of Peace, Onega through us part is sending things to other communities in River State.
Okay.
If we start at Onega now, in terms of development, we cannot proud ourselves, we cannot put our heart to say that this is development in Onega. I am believing that the governor is a man that matches God with action. That is why I'm calling on him. So let us see him doing that which he has said when he called for a security summit. Let him match with action. Let's see hit the ground running in Onega.
All right.
Onega.
All right, Comrade EU Ernest, thank you very much for calling in. That was quite a way to describe Onelga as the Prince of Peace, according to Comrade EU Ernest. Meanwhile, I don't know if you heard about it, but an official of the National Agency for Food and Drug Administration and Control has said the Nigerian government may direct a change in the package of Sniper, an agrochemical that has increasingly become a choice killer for persons contemplating suicide. So NAFDAC said it is partnering with other relevant bodies on this part. On this, as part of the plans to discourage the use of sniper as a tool for suicide. Now, this is in response to the calls for a check on the proliferation and ease of access to sniper in markets and streets across the nation. Meanwhile, the Director General of NAFDAC, that's Christiana Adeyeye, said that sniper containers could now be made very difficult to open or maybe turned into a spray rather than the liquid content that it is known for, as the suicide rate has increased in the country with sniper amongst the agents popularly used. So now I recall we talked about this many weeks back. Initially, when this issue of suicide started, I think we talked about it after the lady here in Unipods had something to do with that. And I actually asked, do you think sniper should still be in the market, or probably something should be done about it? Because it seems like whenever you hear the issue of suicide, many a times you get to hear, not all of them though, but many a times you get to hear something that has to do with sniper one way or the other. And now they're saying just maybe some changes would be made to make it pretty difficult to assess, or like Christiana said, to make it difficult to open, or probably they just turn it into a spray like others, instead of making it liquid that some persons will just get easy access to it and just seep through and wake up in the next land. Well, I'd love to get your reaction on this one and what you think about their suggestion and what they may be working on soon. 95.1 FM. Good evening. Hello.
Hello.
Good evening.
Good evening. Yeah, how are you?
Very well, thank you.
Yeah, look, man, nationality.
Look, man, it's good to hear from you today.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Go
Yes,
ahead, please.
my sister, you know where I always complain every time now about my area. You know that weekend, Friday, Saturday, I was in the village.
Okay.
I was able to go around that Aboku Odupo Umoye road. My sister, I don't know if government agents are listening to us. They should try to help they should try to help us. That road has been awarded. What is holding the contractor from finishing that road? That road is very, very important to achieve people. That is the only way road you can follow achieve to Imo State, to Owerri in that matter. My sister go to that place now. It's like a death trap. In fact, it's a death trap. You cannot access to other community. You cannot access to other neighboring villages because of bad road. It's better for them not to even award it at all, because before we were managing that road. But today it is very, very dangerous now for us to pass that area. I cannot be able to pass. I was driving my car and I parked my car on the road. Then trek almost about how many kilometers before I could be able to see Okada that will convey me to where I'm going. It's not supposed to be so. Now I was able to discuss with the supervisor.
Yeah.
He came on Saturday. I saw him.
Okay.
I said, please, because you don't know me, I was asking him what is the problem of this road? What is holding this road? He was trying to tell me that the governor have not released another money to them. That the delayance of that road is not from them, it's from the state government. I tried to interview him very well. He opened up to me a lot of things I'm not supposed to tell you on air. Please, governor should help us. That road is very, very important to us. Therefore, already have awarded it, and it's on air. It's everywhere that Odupo Abok Umoye Road has been awarded. Then what is holding that road? Get 9 months. My sister is almost 2 years now. That quarter has been awarded. So I don't just understand. Okay, I passed through Ozuzu and Elele Road. My sister, you know that there was a road from Elele to Ozuzu. You understand? Some days back, the governor packed some section of that road. And getting to the community, as I told you in this station,
Look, man, you need to start wrapping up now.
Yes, I told you this some time ago. That getting to the community of Ozuzu community, where the people supposed to benefit the dividends of democracy, where they're supposed to see what government is doing. Government abandoned that road abandoned it on the road. Now, as it rained on Saturday, my sister, also people cannot access to from any letters.
All right.
What have we done to this government?
Okay. All right, Lukaman is asking what they have done to the government because they feel nothing is actually going on there. That's the much we can take. That's the size of the package tonight on Area Talk. Tomorrow is another very beautiful day, and we will be back here to talk about basically everything happening in our area. It's not just limited to River State. It's Bayelsa State, Edo State, Delta State, wherever you are in the South. Do also call in and join us tomorrow on the program. My name is Buchira For. Till same time, same station tomorrow. Do enjoy the rest of your evening and keep it locked down to Today 95.1 FM. Good evening.
Chief Awoyemi, the director of Awoyemi Herbal Healing Home. That man from Ile-Ife, the cradle of Yorubas. At Ife Abure, Omadade Oworemo. Now at Street 2, back of Seco Company, Ibruta Port Harcourt. Come there, my people. We must not be careless of any disease. Either infectious, deficiency, hereditary, physiological or psychological. All we need is to be guided and concerned. Herbal medicine has potent ingredients that can be used as food. We also have method to trace and know the kind of disease in your body and what to do. Chief Awoyemi Herbal Healing Home at New Stadium Road, back of Seco Company, Ibruta Port Harcourt. Call him on 081 341 849 88. Again, 081 341 849 88. Awoyemi Herbal Healing Home. Now in Port Harcourt. My good people of our land, I want to welcome you to this special program. The program that will be of good benefit to the listeners. My name is Tomogun Olubumi. Today, we shall be talking about what can be done when any part of our body is not functioning well. What to be done when there is failure at where you are supposed to meet success. Now, let me welcome our guest on today's program. The man is a specialist on how to overcome obstacles to success. Chief, you are welcome on today's program.
I greet you, my good people in River State and environment. My name is Chief Awoyemi Awodele. I'm from Ile-Ife, where we have more respect for culture and tradition. I'm a traditionalist who always use herbs to help who are not in good condition. It is part of my duty to know the source of the illness and what can be done to solve the problem.
Thank you very much, Chief. What role exactly is culture or tradition playing in the life of people medically?
Thank you, my presenter. Cultural practice and tradition serve many purposes. They help to divine and create community. They also have healing qualities. Source of illness can be known through tradition. There are some people with good certificate but without job. Beautiful ladies without husband. Marriage without fruit, that is, no child. Business without buoyant profits. No injection or capsule can cure this because they are attacked. What they need is prayer. But some people that have pains in their body or that cannot sleep well in the night because of their medical situation, what they need is tradomedical attention. This is what we do in our office, and there are some equipment that can diagnose when you are coming. Drop at Amechi Flying Over, New Stadium Road, Amechi New Road, Street 2, back of Seco Company, Igrita, Port Harcourt. Call me on this number, 081 341 84988. Once again, 081 341 84988. We care, but God cure. God bless you all.
My people, this is where we shall be drawing the curtain on today's program. For guidance, counseling, or any inquiry, You can now go to Awoyemi's office. My name is Tobogun Olubumi. He don't come home. Awoyemi Kaba. Oya make we go there. He don't come home. Hey, Chief Awoyemi, the director of Awoyemi Herbal Healing Home. That man from Ile-Ife, the cradle of Yorubas at Ife Abure, Omadade Oworemo. Now at Street 2, back of Seco Company, Ibruta Port Harcourt. Come there, my people. We must not be careless of any disease. Either infectious, deficiency, hereditary, physiological, or psychological. All we need is to be guided and concerned. Herbal medicine has potent ingredients that can be used as food. We also have material to trace and know the kind of disease in your body and what to do. Chief Awoyemi Herbal Healing Home at New Stadium Road, back of Seco Company, Igruta Port Harcourt. Call him on 081 341 849 88. Again, 081 341 849 88. Awoyemi Herbal Healing Home. Now in Port Harcourt.
This is Today 95.1 FM, Port Harcourt. Every day, every hour. When the big stories break, depend on our 24-hour news team to bring you the latest. Today 95.1 FM.
Today 95.1 FM, Port Harcourt. News update.
Good evening. Here's the news update at 8 on Today 95.1 FM. I am Kala Dakorubatubo. The Vigilante Group of Nigeria has called on security agencies, political and stakeholders to be mindful and investigate some individuals who parade themselves as vigilante members. The VGN also criticized those patronizing untrained local security outfits, which they claimed was dangerous to the society in the fight against insecurity in Rivers State. The state commandant of the Vigilante Group of Nigeria, Mambo Wilcox, in an interview with our correspondent, said if there was no proper investigation into the activities of the untrained local vigilante members, they may fight back the society in future.
Those who are doing impersonation, we have our people, all 23 local government area, and we have people we sack because of their evil characters. So they went and started as a vigilante group of Nigeria. Most of them went even to working with some people, to some companies, collecting money and taxing people that they are vigilante group of Nigeria, while they are not vigilante group of Nigeria. Because we have been trained by police at normal police training college. And soon too, we have to go and then another training. I've arrested a lot of them, handed them over to police, not police arrest them. We arrest them, hand them over to the police.
Meanwhile, the Onelga Security and Peace Advisory Committee Meanwhile, the Onega Security and Peace Advisory Committee OSPAC has come under criticisms over alleged arrest and detention of individuals in the Rundere community and Mwaloku government area of River State. One of the victims of the arrest, Louis Aliete Dingpa, said he was among 10 persons arrested by members of OSPAC in a pub in his community, which they claimed was along East-West Road. Aliete Dingpa said he and other victims were first taken to an uncompleted building at Rumuji before they were moved to OSPAC barrack at Omoku. When contacted, the commander of OSPAC, Eze Godpower Okoro, denied the allegation, saying that OSPAC carries out its operations with security agencies.
Of course, we used to hand over to security operatives, except those who had encounter with us, those who had encounter in terms of exchange of bullets. Those are the ones to come out there. So we don't go to any side without the involvement of the security agents. We must be aware of it.
Also, spokesman of the River State Police Command in Namdimuni denied knowledge of the arrest, detention, and illegal bail of the suspects. Chairman of Academic Staff Union of Universities, ASU, in the University of Port Harcourt, Dr. Austin Sado, said that the federal government is misleading the people by revealing that it has allocated a sum of 208 million naira to public universities. Speaking with our correspondent, Funaya Obemendukwe, Dr. Sadu, who said the fund does not belong to government, explained that it is a fund accumulated from certain percentage of profit of corporate organizations in Nigeria as a result of supporting education. The ASU chairman in Uniport added that the 208 billion naira has nothing to do with the agreement government has with ASU.
I think government is actually misleading Nigerians. It is not government fund. This is fund that is accumulated from certain percentage of profit of organizations, corporate organizations in Nigeria as a result of supporting education. So when government said it has released, government is actually misleading Nigerians. That money has nothing to do with the agreement that government has or entered into with ASU. So if government is claiming that they have released money, government is not telling the truth. It is actually not government money. It is an intervention agency set up by law that accumulates donations from public sector for allocation to tertiary institutions.
You will recall that over the weekend, President Buhari announced that he had approved 208 billion naira as part of the 2019 intervention through the Tertiary Education Trust Fund for infrastructural and teachers' development in public tertiary institutions in the country. The Governorship Elections Tribunal sitting in Port Harcourt has reserved Thursday, 20th of June for ruling on legal representation of the Africa Action Congress in the governorship election suit challenging the outcome of the last general elections in Rivers State. The three-man panel led by KK Kaigama gave the adjourned date after taking arguments from a senior advocate of Nigeria, Taiwo T. Taiwo, who has been representing both the AAC and its candidate, Biokpo Mabo Awara, and Eric Bello, who recently appealed to represent the party. Our correspondent, Uchendu Ejowa, reports that when the matter was mentioned in court, the senior advocate of Nigeria, Taiwo, drew the attention of the panel to issues surrounding the appearance of Bello and asked the court to disregard his submission. Taiwo told the court to disregard every application by Bello as he had no legal standing to represent the party based on the order from the Federal High Court restraining those who allegedly mandated Bello to represent the party, and another letter from INEC not recognizing those that mandated him to represent the party. The panel, after listening to the argument, adjourned till 20th of June for ruling on who should represent the Africa Action Congress in Rivers State. The both counsel declined to speak to newsmen after the court proceedings. The Supreme Court has fixed July 5, 2019 to deliver judgment on a suit between the candidate of the People's Democratic Party, Senator Ademola Adeleke, and that of the All Progressive Congress, Adegboyega Adetola, over the 2018 governorship election in Osun State. The seven-man panel of the court, led by the acting Chief Justice of Nigeria, Justice Ibrahim Muhammad, chose the date after taking final arguments in respect to the main appeal. The new date comes before the 8th of July deadline, when the time for the hearing of the appeal will elapse, in line with the fourth alteration of the Constitution, which stipulates that the post-election appeal must be had within 60 days from the judgment of the lower court. Senator Adeleke had asked the Supreme Court to uphold this appeal and set aside the judgment of the appeal court while restoring the judgment of the tribunal, which declared him the winner of September 2018 governorship election in Osun State. Responding to the application, counsel to Governor Boyega Oyetola Wole Olanipekun asked the court to dismiss the appeal by Senator Adeleke while upholding and affirming the judgment of the appellate court. In his response, counsel to INEC Yusuf Ali told the Apex Court that the commission has not filed any motion but will abide by the judgment of the court. He, however, asked the court to dismiss the motion. Speaking on behalf of the APC, the ruling party's counsel Olumide Olujimi also said he did not file an appeal but will want the court to dismiss the appeal. On the first in Egypt's former president Mohamed Morsi, who was ousted by the military in 2013, has died after fainting in a courtroom. A top figure in the now banned Islamist movement Muslim Brotherhood said Morsi collapsed in a cage after speaking at a hearing on charges of espionage. 67-year-old Morsi had been in custody since being ousted following mass protests a year after he took office. Officials then launched a crackdown on his government and the Muslim Brotherhood supporters. Moses Yarin in the capital, Cairo, was related to charges of espionage emanating from suspected contacts with the Palestinian Islamist group Hamas. He collapsed moments after addressing the court from a cage where some defendants are kept in during sessions. Egypt's public prosecutor said the medical report showed no apparent recent injuries on Moses' body. And that's the size of the package on the news update at 8. I am Kala Da Kurubatubo. Thank you very much for listening. Stay tuned to Today 95.1 FM. The World Today is up next.
Every day, every hour, when the big stories break, depend on our 24-hour news team to bring you the latest. Today, 95.1 FM.
This is Today 95.1 FM. To copy this tune, press 9.
This is Today 95.1 FM.
For current news and information, press 5.
They are politicians, all of them. They know what they do.
So they know how they attack each other.
To stay connected all day, press 1.
The person who raised the name is the one who made the public know about.
Good afternoon and welcome to the World News on your Premium Talk Radio station.
We are your Premium Talk Radio station. Today 95.1 FM, the station with a unique dial.
Insecurity has become a common factor in our general language within the Nigerian space, no doubt. Not only has it become a threat, it has begun taking diverse dimension we cannot ignore, where cultism spreads and breeds evil in its every wake. A solution we seek, a desire to stop the trend is imminent. And as your number one talk station, we have taken the challenge to champion this discourse and prefer solutions. Join us at our Anti-Cultism Summit on the 6th of July at 9 a.m. Be part of the solution. Insecurity has become a common factor in our general language within the Nigerian space, no doubt. Not only has it become a threat, it has begun taking diverse dimension we cannot ignore, where cultism spreads and breeds evil in its every wake. A solution we seek, a desire to stop the trend is imminent. And as your number one talk station, we have taken the challenge to champion this discourse and prefer solutions. Join us at our Anti-Cultism Summit on the 6th of July at 9 a.m. Be part of the solution.
Talk radio. I listen to a lot of talk radio.
95.1 FM.
Good evening. This is Today 95.1 FM Port Harcourt Voice of the People, and it is time again for a rundown of the foreign news stories that made the headlines on the world today in our package tonight. In Indonesia, dozens killed in Indonesia bus crash.
Joshua Wong calls for the resignation of Hong Kong leader Carrie Lam.
Carol Goshen calls for President Trump to back her husband.
Jihadist rocket fire kills 12 civilians in Syria. I am Buchi Rafour.
And I am Kala Da Kuru Batsvo. At least 12 people were killed and dozens more injured in an Indonesian traffic accident after a bus passenger tried to take control of the steering wheel following an argument with the driver. The coach deviated into oncoming traffic on a toll road in West Java, smashing into two cars and causing a truck to roll. 43 people were injured in the multi-vehicle accident and rushed to hospital. Traffic accidents are common Traffic accidents are common in the Southeast Asian archipelago, where vehicles are often old and poorly maintained and road rules regularly flouted. In September, at least 21 people died when the bus plunged into a ravine in West Java's Sukabumi region.
12 civilians have been killed by rocket fire in a regime-held village in northwestern Syria. State news agency SANA has blamed former al-Qaeda affiliate Hayat Tahrir al-Sham for the attack. SANA said 15 people were also wounded late in the attack on al-Wadihi village south of Aleppo city, and said HTS, which controls part of Aleppo's countryside as well as most of neighboring Idlib, was responsible. The published graphic pictures alleging to show some of the victims in a hospital in the aftermath of the attack, including of bandaged men and children lying on stretchers, thick blankets, and covering their bodies. A Syrian Observatory for Human Rights reported the same death toll, saying 5 children were among those killed, and also blamed jihadists based in rural Aleppo for the attack. The attack came as Syrian government forces have been locked in clashes with HTS fighters in nearby Hama province.
Hong Kong's most prominent student activist, Joshua Wong, has called for the resignation of leader Carrie Lam after walking free from prison. Wong, who is 22 years old, became the face of the 2014 pro-democracy protest, which called for the city to pick its own leaders. People in Hong Kong are again out on the streets, this time against a controversial bill which would allow extradition to mainland China. China has said it will continue to support Lam. Critics have said the legislation would expose people in Hong Kong to China's deeply flawed justice system and lead to further erosion of the city's judicial independence. Lam has apologized for the over the bill, as much of the public anger as being directed to her.
Iran has said it will breach on 27th June the limit on its supply of enriched uranium that was kept under a 2015 nuclear deal with world powers. The country announced last month that it would multiply its production of low-enriched uranium, which is used to make reactor fuel, but also nuclear weapons, in retaliation for sanctions reinstated by the U.S. European powers have warned Iran they will have no choice but to reimpose sanctions if the deal is violated. The UK, France, and Germany have tried to stop the accord from collapsing since U.S. President Donald Trump abandoned it last year. But Iran has complained that they have failed to protect its oil and banking sectors from the effects of the U.S. sanctions. They have triggered a collapse in economic growth, pushing the country into a deep recession. It also gave the European powers until 7th July to protect Iranian oil sales. If they fail, it will suspend its restriction on uranium enrichment and halt the redesign of its heavy water reactor, whose spent fuel would contain plutonium suitable for a bomb.
Carol Gushin, the wife of the former Nissan chairman Carlos Gushin, is appealing to President Trump to put in pressure on Japan over her husband's legal battle. Gushin was arrested in Tokyo in November and has been charged with financial crimes relating to his time in charge of the Nissan-Renault alliance. According to BBC's Michelle Fleury, she hasn't been able to speak to her husband since his arrest. And in the United States, Phoenix mayor apologizes after U.S. police threatened to shoot black family. The mayor of the U.S. city of Phoenix has apologized after a video allegedly showing police threatening to shoot a black family went viral. Officers were responding to an alleged shoplifting incident last month when the video was recorded. The parents claimed they did not notice that their 4-year-old daughter had taken a doll from a dollar store. The footage also shows another man, Drevon Ames, being kicked in the legs as he's handcuffed by an officer. Phoenix Police Chief Jerry Williams said the issue was being investigated. The officers involved have been assigned decked duty while the investigation takes place.
Argentina and Uruguay reel after massive power outage. Power has been restored to some parts of Argentina and Uruguay after a massive electrical failure left tens of millions of people in the dark. Argentine President Mauricio Macri has promised a full investigation into the issue. The blackout was prompted by a failure in an electrical grid that serves both Argentina and Uruguay, causing trains to be halted and failures with traffic signaling. The outage occurred as people in Argentina were preparing to go to the polls for local elections, delaying voting in several regional provinces. According to Argentina officials, power has been restored to more than 80% of the customers in Argentina, while Uruguay's energy company UTE said power had been restored to 88% of customers.
2 Italians accused of posing as U.S. actor George Clooney to promote a fashion business have been arrested in Thailand after years on the run. Francisco Galdelli, who is 58 years old, and Vanja Goffey, 55, have been wanted on an Interpol red notice since 2013. They had fled their home country to avoid arrest and had been dubbed the Italian Bonnie and Clyde after the legendary U.S. gangster couple. The two were arrested on Saturday in a joint operation of Thai and Italian authorities on the outskirts of the Thai city of Pattaya.
UK-listed firms will become the first foreign companies to be able to list in mainland China under a new stock link. The UK government said the project will open up British firms to new investors. The initiative will also allow companies from each country to raise capital in the other.
An Indian magician who attempted to recreate Ari Houdini's famed trick by jumping shackled into a river is feared dead. Chanchal Lahiri was meant to escape and swim to safety but did not emerge from the Hooghly River in West Bengal state. He was shackled with 6 locks and a chain as spectators on 2 boats watched him. Several people had also gathered by the shore and some stood on the landmark Aurey Bridge in Kolkata. The police said they are searching for him after spectators alerted them.
Huawei founder Ren Zhengfei has said the Chinese telecoms giant will slash production by $30 billion over the next 2 years as the U.S.-led backlash against the firm intensifies. Speaking at the firm's headquarters, Ren said sales were expected to remain flat at $100 billion in 2019 and 2020. Last month, the U.S. put Huawei on a list of companies that American firms cannot trade with unless they have a license. The U.S. argues that the Chinese company, the world's largest maker of telecoms equipment and the second biggest smartphone maker, poses a security threat.
Contenders to replace Theresa May as conservative leader have clashed over the leaving Brexit during a TV debate. The MPs argued over whether a new deal could be renegotiated with the EU and the prospect of a no-deal Brexit. Boris Johnson came under fire for not taking part in the Channel 4 debate but defended his stance. His leadership bid has been backed by Health Secretary Matt Hancock, who dropped out of the race on Friday. Here's a summary of the foreign news stories that made the headlines. Dozens have been killed in an Indonesia bus crash.
Joshua Wong has called for the resignation of Hong Kong leader Carrie Lam from Hong Kong.
Carol Goshen has called for President Trump to back her husband.
Jihadist rocket fire has killed 12 civilians in Syria. And that concludes the 9th edition of The World Today. Is produced by Ifunaya Obeme Undukwe of the News Department.
Till same time tomorrow, do have yourself a lovely evening.
I am Buchi Rafua.
And I am Kala Dakurubatsubo.
Today's news, today's entertainment, today's sports, today's issues. Today on Today 95.1 FM, Port Harcourt.
Insecurity has become a common factor in our general language within the Nigerian space, no doubt. Not only has it become a threat, it has begun taking diverse dimension we cannot ignore, where cultism spreads and breeds evil in its every wake. A solution we seek. A desire to stop the trend is imminent. And as your number one talk station, we have taken the challenge to champion this discourse and prefer solutions. Join us at our Anti-Cultism Summit on the 6th of July at 9 a.m. Be part of the solution.
Do you want to be competitive on the global scene? And how well can you use your available resources to generate income? How strong and loyal is your team? How efficient is your leadership? Are you able to do business outside your comfort zone? Can you create products and services that are relevant to your market? Can you manage people from different cultural backgrounds? How powerful is your brand? How well can you juggle life and business? Can you do more with less time? Come learn efficient cross-cultural communication skills. Learn influencing skills. Learn world-class productivity and efficiency. Expand your business horizons. Get fresh new ideas. Break new ground and learn to manage a world-class enterprise on doing business with Stephanie Pius. Stephanie Pius. Every Monday night at 8 p.m. on Today 95.1 FM.
That's really something.
Hi, this is a continuation of Doing Business with Stephanie Pius. And now I'm going to put you through to an interview I had earlier with Mr. Ejikeme Okeke. Mr. Ejikeme Okeke is a quail farmer. You remember I've been talking about quail farming as one of the ways that you can start business with very little capital and something that is lucrative, that you can actually make good money. Something that won't cost you too much in terms of input and looking for ways to get money out of it. So Mr. Ejikeme Okeke is going to talk to us about how to get started in the quail business. He has, between him and his partners, there are over 1,000 quails, and he's been doing quail farming since 2012. He's a quail farmer based in Rumigbo, Port Harcourt, that is here in Rivers State, and he knows exactly what he's talking about when it comes to quail. So what he'll be telling us right now is how you can get started with quail farming, number one. Secondly, the challenges that he faced when he tried starting the business and during the time that he initially started the business. There weren't that many challenges, but there were some specific things that he had to overcome. So he's going to talk to us about that. And then finally, he's going to give some advice, some very crucial advice to people that want to start in the business. I remember a lot of people called me or sent me SMS telling me they wanted to go into quail business after I discussed quail business several weeks ago on air. And as a follow-up to that, and to get as much information as possible to those that said they were interested in the business, I invited Mr. Ejikeme Okeke to talk about quail farming. So let's listen to him and get to know as much as possible about this incredible business. Thank you very much, Mr. Ejikeme Okeke, for being here. I'm very happy to have you on the show on Doing Business with Stephanie Pius. I would like you to say hello to our listeners.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. So here we are. We're going to talk about quail farming. Are you excited or not? Okay, let's start with the first question. Mr. Ejikeme, why did you go into quail farming? What attracted you to this kind of business? It's very different from poultry, I guess.
Yes, what attracted me to go into quail farming is this. It's a bird that is very easy to manage, and also it's a bird that is very friendly. Biblically, we know that quail is a bird that fed the Israelites when they were in the wilderness. For 40 years, none of them died in the wilderness because of the things that were embedded in quail. It sustained them for a long period of time, and they were able to face the wilderness experience. None of them died in the wilderness. And then I got interested in quail business because also it's a bird that is so friendly. It's not giving any hassles. It's not a kind of bird that trouble in the environment. They are unique bird. You don't find them giving what we say wahala. It's a simple bird that when you have it in your environment, you are okay with it, good to go. And then how to rear it is very simple. We have the feeds that they take. the poultry bird feeds they take. And then if you are feeding them from beginning, the starting point, you use starter. The first day you have your quail.
So you use the starter from the beginning of the feeding life to the end?
Yes.
You don't have like two types of feeding
No,
like you
you
have
have
for
to.
broilers?
You have to.
You have to.
The one when you have a day-old chick,
Okay.
you start with starter for 2 weeks. After
Okay.
2 weeks, you now introduce layers.
Okay.
If you have, because after 2 weeks to 3 weeks, you now know the female and male.
Oh,
You'll be
I
able to
see.
differentiate them.
But when you buy them in the carton, don't they give you just female, assuming you want to have eggs?
If you want,
don't
if you
want to
want
have,
point
for
of, if you
feeding.
want point of layer,
Yes.
what point of layer, you now press order for the female only.
Okay, I see. Okay.
If you don't want point of layer, whereby you want to mix it, maybe you want to mass produce it.
Okay.
Like you want to have a fertilized egg, you need to have female and male in order to have fertilized egg for you to produce it your own.
Okay.
Then you will begin to have your own chicks. You don't need to go to northern region to pick your quail. You can domesticate it here and reproduce it here.
Wow.
And then people will begin to know about it. We have facility here in the state whereby we are making sure that people around can be able to have quail easily.
What you mean is that you have a hatchery in
Yes,
Port Harcourt?
hatchery here in Port Harcourt.
Okay, that's
Here in
fantastic. You
Port
don't have
Harcourt.
to wait for it to come from Ibadan
No,
or somewhere else or Jos or...
No. That's the problem I had when I first started. I had that challenge.
Okay.
But today we have a hatchery here in Port Harcourt.
Okay.
Built by.
What was the challenge you faced initially?
The challenge is that when you pay for your quail, it's going to take you months upon months. Definitely they will deliver. They will not take your money. They will not eat your money.
Okay.
Definitely
Where
they
did
must
you order
surely.
from?
I ordered my quail first time from Jos,
Okay.
Plateau State.
Fantastic. Okay. And then you said it take months to, like, how many months?
Sometimes takes 1 month, sometimes it takes 2 months.
Okay, before you now get the
Yes, you
from
must
Jos.
surely get it. They will not take your money.
Okay.
You must surely get
Did you
your
order
quail.
through a veterinary place or by yourself? How do you order?
I ordered it from a quail farmer in Jos.
Oh, I see. Okay.
And then
he sends it.
he constructed a cage
Wow.
and then placed it at the back of this Sienna bus.
Wow.
To tell you how rugged quail is.
Yes.
They drove from Jos, Plateau,
Yes.
to Port Harcourt. I picked it at Camp.
Wow.
The first quail I had, I picked it at Camp that evening. And then I sent it to my quail pen and then put them in and then give them a welcoming meal, just introducing stress-free glucose.
So all the way from Jos to here, they didn't have any water, no food?
No, they are rugged bed.
Wow.
They survived.
And none of them died?
None of them died. I had 120 of them then.
Okay. What about the eggs? Did you used to order the eggs from Jos as well?
Well, I didn't follow them to order from Jos because I want to have my own here in Port Harcourt.
Okay. Somebody mentioned something about the eggs, that if you keep them for a long
What happened is that, Nigeria, when we got to know about quail, many people, this bandwagon effect, many people were involved in the business.
Oh, I see.
Most of the people get their own from the eggs, the eggs from Kano, Sokoto, Meduguri, from the northern region. And then
So are there a lot of people doing the business right now?
because of the challenges they ceased, because they were having a kind of return because of the crack.
Okay.
Long distance makes the egg to crack.
Oh, I see. Okay, so a lot of people stopped selling them.
Yes, the reason why I want to have it here in Port Harcourt is this.
Sorry to interrupt. Currently, we don't have that many quail farmers.
Yes, currently we don't have many quail farmers here in Port Harcourt.
So it would be nice to have more quail farmers.
Yes.
And it would be much easier now that you said you have a hatchery in Port Harcourt.
Yes, that's what we are trying to do, to have a community.
Oh, I see.
Whereby we will have 5, 10, 15, 20 quail farmers here in Port Harcourt.
Okay.
And it will be a unique business.
Yes.
People are still yearning for the egg.
Okay, so those are the challenges that you faced initially, getting the eggs, getting the birds from up north, and now you said you've overcome them because you now have your own system of hatchery here in Port Harcourt.
Yes,
You said somewhere in GRA.
Yes, in
where people can
GRA
get
we
the
have
eggs
a
from.
hatchery machine designed by a Rivers man.
Wonderful.
I'm proud
Wow.
of him.
I'm so proud of him too. So the next question I'm going to ask is, can you expand on the idea that the eggs are highly nutritious, they are healthy, and apparently they can cure about how many diseases, like 30-something diseases? And can you talk about maybe like a few of those diseases and tell us what your experience is with the nutrition value of quail eggs?
Well, quail egg is rich in calcium, and then it is egg that has antioxidants and also contain omega-3.
Let me talk about antioxidant, because some people just hear antioxidant. Antioxidant is very, very important. When we move, when we talk, when we do things, our body produces something called free radicals. And in order to get rid of the free radicals, you need to have antioxidants. There are certain things that are powerful in antioxidants. I just heard now that quail egg is one of them. Other things are fruits and vegetables, and green tea is very powerful in antioxidants, including your lemongrass tea. It's very powerful in antioxidants. So it's very nice to hear that quail eggs, which are also very delicious, I think they taste like normal chicken eggs.
Yes.
Any different?
No, there's no difference.
There's no difference.
There's no
Fantastic.
difference.
So you have something that is delicious and at the same time has antioxidant. I'm so happy. So continue, sir.
And also it contains omega-3, omega-6, fatty acid.
Omega-3 is good for the heart, I think.
Yeah, yes.
I'm not a doctor,
Very
but this is
nice.
what I know. It's very nice for the heart and
Yeah.
good for the skin and
Yes.
for the strength and all that.
Fatty acid.
Okay.
Also rich in minerals like magnesium, potassium, folic acid, iron, zinc, and phosphorus.
So what kind of like illnesses did these eggs are good for? I heard arthritis is one of them. What else?
You can have remedy for heart disease.
Heart disease.
Yes,
Okay,
when
like high blood pressure.
Yes, you have disease, and then you can stop asthma tips.
Asthma.
Yes.
Wow.
And then it has this tendency to correct and give good memory.
Oh.
And also good eyesight.
So all the students out there, if you're a student, this is very good information. Eat quail eggs. You'll be able to make first class.
It
Because they're very
helps
good
to
for your brain.
develop children's brain.
Wow.
It helps fortunes and the children's brain development.
So it could actually be better than buying regular eggs.
Yes, I have a customer, he's a banker.
Yes.
He called me and then said, for long I have been looking for quail egg. And then when I gave him the first pack, he made a vow to me and said, you will promise me to be supplying me this quail egg every week, two crates.
Wow.
Every week, two crates. He's a banker.
What
And
experience did he have that he wanted to have?
he said that
every
he
week?
wants his children, because of he has googled and he has seen the health benefit of quail egg.
Okay.
He now said no, that he's not going to be taking this hen egg, that he will be taking from now henceforth, he's going to be taking quail egg because of the health benefits that are embedded in it.
Okay.
And then he placed order that every week I will be dropping 2 crates for him, and then he has not stopped. He uses it as a routine on his meal.
Is it? You know what they say? Prevention is better than cure.
Yes.
If you have something that is preventive, that is good for you, that tastes great, why not? I don't know why people have to wait till they fall ill before they start looking for nutritious things to eat. If you have something that you know can help your body, there's something called routine maintenance. Like he just said, he takes it routinely. So there's something called routine maintenance. We're supposed to do it for our cars. We carry our cars for servicing from time to time to make sure they don't develop any huge problem. That's the same thing with your body. You have to feed your body properly so that you don't develop any illnesses. Or if you do, at least you'll be able to combat it because your body is stronger. But if, for example, you've not been feeding well, you've been eating all sorts of things that are not good for you, they can even help you to develop certain illnesses because you have abused your body, in fact. So keying into something like quail eggs and feeding your family with it, I think will be fantastic. This is not a nutrition and health show, by the way. This is Doing Business with Stephanie Pius.
Yes.
But I'm just telling you about the other benefits of going into quail farming, or at least patronizing somebody that does quail farming. You can continue, Mr. Okeke.
So the quail egg also trashes a remedy for ulcer, and also cancer, remedy for cancer.
Okay.
And also healthy skin,
Healthy skin. Wow.
skin, and then good eyesight.
Fantastic. Okay, so those are the benefits of quail eggs. And does quail meat contain some of these benefits as well?
Yes, if you have the egg and at the end of the day you eat the bird itself, the same thing that the egg does, the meat also.
The meat is also good.
Do the same.
But the quail is not very big. It's a small. It's
a
much smaller
small
than a chicken, right?
bird.
Is it like a pigeon?
Yes, the size of
I've never
pigeon.
seen one before.
The size of pigeon. The difference is this: the pigeon has a tail.
Oh,
but quail does not have tail.
Oh, it's round.
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
Okay, good. Okay, so that's how quail looks like, and it's a small bird, but you can eat it. It's not like eating a rat. It's much bigger.
No, what we did is, so what we do, look at it. At the end of the day, when we rear quail, at the end of the day, when it gets to all layers, we defeather it, we kill it and defeather it, and then pass it like cliche.
Wow.
Smoke it like cliche.
Okay.
Cliche, and then spice it.
Wow.
When we spice it, if you test it, it is very nutritious, and then it test it.
Mr. Ejikeme, okay, next time I see you, I want one of those.
I will bring it to you.
Please, so don't come here without it.
Thank you very much.
Because you'll whet my appetite. I want to taste it.
You're welcome.
Okay, fantastic. So you can hear what benefits there are in doing this business and eating the eggs and eating the meat itself. Now, let me ask Mr. Okeke, how have you been marketing the quail birds? Because marketing and sales is a major component of doing a successful business. If you have, like, I remember one time I did poultry and I didn't have a marketing plan. I didn't know I was going to sell them. So at the end of the day, I would really struggle to continue with the poultry business because I didn't really know how I was going to sell them and make money to cover all my expenses. So it's very important that we know exactly how we're going to market or get sales for our products before we even start making the products and go into the business. So I'd like Mr. Okeke to tell us how he's been marketing and selling quail eggs and quail meat.
Well, like this question you asked me is trying to giving me forum to introduce myself properly. I have been a supermarket man. I have a shop in Rumiwo before now, and then from there I have partners in business. We are in supermarket. We normally quail egg. If you see people that hawk it, because of the impact of holding it and then hawking it, the thing will now crack inside, which you will not be able to know.
Many people don't even want to do the business because they think that's the only way to market it. They don't know there are other ways.
If you want to have your quail egg easily, you go to Spar, you go to big supermarkets. That's where you are going to get your eggs, and then fresh from the farm. The moment you have it from supermarkets, you don't have issues. And if you have any challenges, you can return it and tell them, look at the challenges. They will look at it and then refer back to us. If we have any challenges like those that we supply, the supermarket will do supply. If they have any challenges, they tell us, and then we replace to the customers. We don't want our customers to lose. So marketing it has been easy because people are looking for it.
Marketing it has been easy. Do you hear that? That's something that I like to hear because marketing is something that people are not very excited about. There are people that are born marketers. They love marketing, but there are some of us that would prefer not to have to do marketing. Without marketing, you don't have business because sales is the lifeblood of any business. You have to be able to sell. So he has just said that marketing it is very easy, and of course, he's going to give us some advice for anybody that wants to start the business. So, what advice would you give Mr. Ejikeme on starting up business in quail farming?
Starting up business in quail farming is very easy because quail does not need any medication, so to say.
Okay.
The medication is embedded in the body of the quail. Quail has 3 years lifespan. And then if you're so eager to hurry the quail up, and then you introduce medication like you are giving egg booster in order to have your egg quick.
Yes.
Well, let me say this time again, quail has just 6 weeks from chick to maturity. Stays 6 weeks. I say it again, 6 weeks.
That's nothing compared to broiler. I think broiler is like 12 weeks.
Layers stays 6 months.
Like layers are 6 months. Quail layers. How
quail
long?
Layers.
Quail layers
6 weeks. 6 weeks.
A month and 2 weeks.
A month and 2 weeks. You start having
by
your
morning.
eggs from quail beds.
A
the
month
female,
and
not
2
male.
weeks. Did you hear that? Can you imagine?
So,
a month and 2 weeks, and then you can start having your quail eggs.
Yes.
I'm going into this business by tomorrow morning. First thing tomorrow morning. Mr. Ejikeme, we're starting my own part of this business. You're already doing yours. I want to do it too because 6 weeks is very exciting and very, very tempting. I didn't even know that. I wish I'd known that since. I just assumed to be like 6 months, just like regular chickens.
That's
right?
what made me to go into rearing quail. is you can start it with the first capital you invest on it is good to go.
Wow.
You don't need to pay any other thing.
What about the feed? How much
It's
do you
only
spend
the
on
it's only
feed?
the feed you will now, the feed is
A bag
just
of feed is like how much?
3,000 naira.
3,000
now.
naira.
Yes.
And how many birds can
They
that
don't-
feed, and for how long?
3,000 naira can buy you a bag of quail feed, and then it stays. If you have 100 of it, it stays 1 week.
Okay.
Before it goes off.
So in 6 weeks, you would have spent 18,000 on feed.
Yes,
That's not bad.
It's not
How much
costing
do you sell one bird?
at the end of
Yeah.
rearing it?
Yeah, if you want-
yes, if you want to start, getting one bird is almost 1,000 naira for
Okay,
one.
for a whole bird?
Yes, for whole
Okay,
bird.
the one
yes.
you've roasted or the
That's-
one you've...
No. What I mean, if you want to start,
Yes.
and you want point of lay.
Okay.
Point of lay, 4 weeks.
4 weeks old.
Yes, 4
Okay.
weeks old is point of lay.
Okay.
Then if
How
you,
much is that?
That one is 1,000 naira.
Okay, but if you want a day-old chick, how much is that?
A day old chick, you can't have a day old chick because their nature, their body cannot, in fact, they can't survive.
Oh, I see.
Yes,
Okay.
they can't survive.
Okay.
That's why we develop a system here in Port Harcourt. The man that developed the incubator also developed a nursery.
Okay.
Once this quail comes out from the incubator, you send it to the nursery.
Okay.
The nursery, it will stay in the nursery for 2 weeks before you now take the quail to your pen.
I get.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Because if you take it from day old, it will die.
Wow.
That's the challenge we are having.
Okay.
So when we started,
It's at that 4 weeks that someone can buy.
yes.
Okay, that's a point of lay, and
Point
that's
of
1,000 naira.
Yes.
Okay, and then the feeding is 18,000 naira for like 100 birds.
Yes.
So if you take that, probably each bird will cost you like less than 1,500 naira.
Yes.
To feed till it starts laying eggs, and then of course you keep feeding it when it's laying eggs. So you won't
It
stop
just-
feeding it.
If you're having your egg, when you sell your egg, you don't count much again because you're using the money to feed.
How
and
much is
also
a crate of quail eggs right
a
now?
crate of quail egg here in Port Harcourt is almost 1,005.
1,500 for
Almost.
30 eggs.
Yes.
Wow.
Because people are clamoring for it. They queue
Wow.
up and then put down their phone numbers,
Wow.
waiting until when we supply to them, they will now call them to come and pick.
Okay, what about the quail itself? How much do you sell like a bird when it's mature? If you want to maybe phase them out and bring in new birds.
That one is 1,005.
1,005.
Yes.
So you can see this is really, really good business. I
By
can
then you
see
have
that
made
you
it
won't
as
lose big-
cliche.
I don't think you would have made it as cliche.
Yes.
Fantastic. I don't see somebody losing money in this. What do you think? How
you
sturdy
don't
are
lose
they?
any money.
Do they get diseases that they die quickly or anything? Is there any form of disease that normally afflicts them?
No.
Nothing?
No.
Okay, there's no...
No disease.
Okay, is it easier, let me put it like this, is it easier to rear than broiler?
It's easier to rear.
Than broiler?
Yes.
Okay,
It's
fantastic.
easier.
Okay, I'd like our listeners out there to write in, and if they have any questions. Mr. Ejikeme, you mentioned, I see this book that is with you. I'd like you to talk a little bit about it because I think it would be a useful resource. And the other thing I'd like you to do is to think of how you can mentor some of our listeners, because I remember a lot of people indicated interest in the business. So if they want to some kind of mentorship or apprenticeship, maybe perhaps you can take them on, let them come and see you first. And even if it's just one Saturday or 2 Saturdays or 4 Saturdays they have, because some of them are workers, they can come to your farm, look at what you do, you can mentor them, and then perhaps put them through on the business. And of course, they'll have an arrangement between you and them. It's not, for us, but you have an arrangement. But I'd like you to talk about this book that you have, because I can see you have a book on quail farming, and you said it's from one of your partners. How useful would the book be for our listeners?
The book is a full digital farming.
Okay.
And then it contains...
What do you mean what do you mean by digital farming?
Digital farming, these days, we are no longer talking of Machet's whole system of farming.
Okay.
We are talking about simple way of farming, whereby if you program yourself properly,
Yes.
you calculate and say, from now to 6 weeks, I am going to have this amount of money.
Okay.
And then you drop the quail, or you drop the chicken, or you drop the broilers, and you drop any of them, you have set it on digital.
Oh, I see.
And you run on it.
Okay, you
and
have
as
a
you're
proper
running on it,
business plan for
you have a proper business plan, and then
Okay.
it goes like that.
Okay, fantastic. Okay, so through the mentorship program too, they can have access to the
Yes,
book,
they can have access
and
to
then,
the book.
be able to have like hands-on understanding of the business, because I always advise people, if you want to go into business, it's good that you have some hands-on experience. I talked about last week also, I talked about a lady who wanted to go into the printing business, and she actually paid a printer to come to his shop, for her to come to to the printer shop and watch the printer at work and know how he interacts with customers, how he charges them, and how he runs the business generally and manages the staff. So if you want to go into a new business and you have no experience whatsoever, my advice would be to find somebody that is already doing that business and then understudy them, find out what they are doing, how they are doing it, what mistakes they have already made, so you don't have to make the same mistakes. You can stand on the shoulder of someone else to reach the goal that you're aiming for. So I would advise anybody, if you're out there and you're interested in the quill business, please do get in touch with Stephanie Pius. You can call my usual line 07011 783 04, or you can also reach me on 0909 460 1580. That's 0909 460 1580. You can send me an SMS. Please don't call. I'll call you back and send you information, and then you can get more information on the quill farming. And Mr. Ejikeme, do you have any last words or message for our listeners on this particular episode?
My words to our dear listeners is that quail, what the Bible says about quail, is still in vogue now. And I want to say that those that are interested...
What does the Bible say about quail?
Bible said that quail came out from if you read
the passage in
Numbers chapter 11 verse 30.
In the book of Numbers, I know the
yes,
story. When the children of Israel were clamoring for meat, they were remembering when they were in Egypt that they used to eat lots of meat.
Yes.
They used to eat this and eat that. There was a time they were also clamoring for cucumbers and
that.
So this particular time, I think God got angry and told them that He will give them enough meat. It will be coming out of their ears and their noses. So He now caused quails to flutter around the camp.
Yes.
You know that's even a miracle. How do you get birds to just flutter around the camp without running away? They all fluttered around the camp enough for, apparently it was like a day's walk on one side of the camp to the other. As in, there was so much quail that it would take you like a whole day to cross the amount of quails that were fluttering. So there was quail all around the camp, and they ate and ate and ate and ate. And God gave them that because it was good for their body.
Yes.
You know, and they ate it. Of course, it was nice food.
40 years.
For 40 years, yes. He kept giving them. It sustained them. So quail is a very good. He also gave them manna. Manna was what they ate throughout. So quail is a fantastic bird, as you can hear, and it's a good business. And if you're out there, because I know you are out there that is interested in this business, please do get in contact on 0909 460 1580. Send me an SMS and then I'll get back to you. Thank you, Mr. Ejikeme Okeke. I really appreciate your time, and thank you for all the amazing information that you've given us about quail farming. And like he said, they have a system right here in Port Harcourt to take care of your farming needs. A circle, yes, whereby you can get your eggs and your... So not the eggs. I think you can also get eggs, of course.
You can get eggs.
You can get the eggs, but most importantly, if you want to do the business, you can get the point of lay, which is about 4 weeks old from them, and then you can start your business, and then they will put you through on how you can start, what feed you need, and how to go about all the initial setup and all that. I don't think you need as much space as you do for poultry farming.
You don't need much space.
Because quail is a smaller...
A cage. You just
a cage?
small a cage.
Wow.
Standing cage.
That's all you need. How many birds will go into a standing cage?
It can be up to a cage that has 4 layers.
Yeah.
The layer will contain 20.
Oh, 20, so that's about 80.
20.
Fantastic.
80.
So you can see the space needs is not that much. You don't need like a building.
Yes.
You don't need a building. You just need a cage. So it's something you can do. Thank you very much, Mr. Ejikeme Okeke. I appreciate you, and I look forward to the response we'll be getting from our listeners.
Thank you very much for having me.
Thank you.
I will be glad to come again.
I'll be glad to have you again.
You're welcome to the program. Let's talk. Flood has become a major issue in our society. Was there no proper drainage done for this flood? For this flood to be done? And it gets me thinking.
You see how difficult it is for them. Not all hosts know about the game. Hello and welcome to your number one news and talk radio station, Today95.1 FM. We've got loads of news and gossip for you. But first off, let's go on a commercial break.
Radio has never been this good. Today,
glad you know now.
This is Today 95.1 FM. To copy this tune, press 9.
This is Today. 95.1 FM.
For current news and information, press 5.
They are politicians, all of them. They know what they do.
So they know how they attack each other.
To stay connected all day, press 1.
The person who raised the alarm is the one who made the public know about
Good afternoon and welcome to the world news on your premium talk radio station.
We are your premium talk radio station. Today 95.1 FM, the station with a unique dial.
It's that time on radio. Let's take you into the life and times of men and women who inspire, role models who have shaped the world.
He was a great scholar whose relevance surpasses the shores of Nigeria and Africa. His name is Senator Dr. Obiwali. Obiwali was born on 27th February 1932 in Rumigbo Town, headquarters of the Apara Kingdom in Obiakpon local government area of Rivers State. He was called Obiajumo at birth, being the first surviving child of his parents, Chief Frank Wali Otubo and Mrs. Jenny Wali, a granddaughter of the prominent Ezebunwo Waduba of Orowokwo Rebisi in Port Harcourt. He started his primary education at the Holy Trinity School, Rumapara, very close to his father's compound, from 1938 to 1943. Thereafter, he acquired printing skills as well as organizing evening classes for the Standard 6 candidates in 1946. Dr. Wali was later admitted to the prestigious West African Institute, Calabar, in Cross River State in 1947. His parents became uncomfortable with the distance between them and their only son and therefore changed his school to St. Augustine's Anglican Grammar School, Nkwere, in Imo State, where he wrote the Cambridge School Certificate Examination and passed in Division 1. Between 1952 and 1955, he was offered a job at the Tropical Testing Establishment in Port Harcourt as a lab assistant, which he rejected, and later got a job as a clerk at the Residence Office in Cameroon, where he also gained typing skills. In 1955, he gained admission into the Premier University College, Ibadan, where he earned a BA in English Language and Literature with second-class upper division. After his graduation, Wali worked with the Federal Civil Service as an administrator with the Ministry of Works and Survey, Lagos in 1959, and later got a job with the University of Ibadan as an assistant lecturer in the Department of English. Thereafter, he transferred to the University of Nigeria in Nsukka, where he taught courses including Introduction to African Literature. Wali presented his paper in 1962 at the Makerere University, Uganda, at the first major conference on New African Writing at the institution. The well-known paper was later published in the 10th issue of the Transition magazine. Wali obtained his master's degree in English and Literature in 1963 at the Northwestern University, Everton, USA, and his doctorate degree in 1967 in the same subject. The outbreak of Nigerian Civil War in July 1967 and the creation of Rivers State fueled Wali's interest in politics. He was one of the founding fathers of Rivers State, Nigeria, and served as its first Commissioner for Education under the DSP's administration. In 1975, Zamani Lukwat, the then military head of Rivers State, appointed him the chairman of the Governing Council of the Rivers State Technology. He was also elected councillor in 1977 for Ward 26, comprising Rumigbo, Rumepericum, and Rumorasi communities in Port Harcourt City local government area. In 1978, Dr. Wali joined partisan politics as member of the then Nigerian People's Party, NPP, and became one of the 6 deputy chairmen of the party. He was also appointed member of the 1978 Constituent Assembly and a member of the Constitution Drafting Committee that drafted the 1979 Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Wali was elected senator representing Port Harcourt Senatorial District in 1979, and in 1980 he was elected the minority leader of the House of Senate, Federal Republic of Nigeria. As a politician, he is most remembered for championing the cause of the Ikwere ethnic minorities in Nigeria. Senator Wali was one of the best-known leaders from the Niger Delta region to consistently campaign against the marginalization of the Niger Delta people, particularly the Ikwere ethnic nationality. He fought for the creation of Port Harcourt State out of the then River State, Nigeria. While he campaigned for the correction of the imbalances in the socio-economic and political power of the Nigerian state throughout his political career, he is also remembered for his call for a critical examination of Nigeria's commitment to the Economic Community of West African States, ECOWAS. Besides his contribution to the politics of Nigeria, Wale also contributed immensely to the literary works in the African hemisphere and globally. When in 1963, he contributed his controversial essay, The Dead End of African Literature, where he declared that literatures written in European languages did not qualify as African literature, although Chinua Achebe opposed his opposition. Other African literary giants accepted his works, such as Ngugi wa Thiong'o, who later changed his name to a traditional African name, following Wale's argument. Wale was violently murdered and dismembered at home in his bedroom by a suspected hired assassin on April 26, 1993. The reason for the murder remained unestablished. However, many speculated that it was in connection with his political opinions. Some notable statements were accused of complicity in Wale's murder, and he was later buried on 24 February 1994. In 2014, the Obiwale International Conference Center was opened to the public in Port Harcourt, River State, created and named in the memory of Obiwale's political and literary contributions to the state. And finally, the Ikwere people organized an annual memorial lecture in Obiwale's honor.
Personality profile. Now you know.
Talk radio. I listen to a lot of talk radio.
95.1 FM.
Talk radio. I listen to a lot of talk radio.
95.1 FM.
Insecurity has become a common factor in our general language within the Nigerian space, no doubt. Not only has it become a threat, it has begun taking diverse dimension we cannot ignore, where cultism spreads and breeds evil in its every wake. A solution we seek, a desire to stop the trend is imminent. And as your number one talk station, we have taken the challenge to champion this discourse and prefer solutions. Join us at our Anti-Cultism Summit on the 6th of July at 9 a.m. Be part of the solution.
Today 95.1 FM, Port Harcourt.
Opinion poll with Kalada.
Today 95.1 FM, Port Harcourt.
Opinion poll with Kalada.
Good evening to you. A minute gone past the hour of 9, and it is time again for you and I to get talking and talk for the growth of the Nigerian society. Tonight, I would like us to have our focus on our dear River State. Hey, how are you doing, by the way? How are you doing? It's been a rainy day. It's been a cold day. And yeah, it's a cold evening still. I know many of you cuddled up, you have your blankets or your sweatshirts, maybe drinking tea. Maybe some of you are drinking gin and juice, yeah. But nonetheless, I still would love to welcome you to Opinion Poll this cold evening. I know some of you are listening from Akwa Ibom, some of you are listening from Imo State, some of you are listening from Delta State, Bayelsa State, Abia State, And yeah, from River State as well. Hey, welcome all of you. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Excited to be on the first edition of Opinion Poll for this week. And I brought a lot of wonderful thoughts alongside myself. Of course, first one I want to talk about or mention, because it did catch my attention in the course of the day, is the IGP coming out to say that crime rates declining. I'm not going to talk about the EU's, observation or recommendation or report about the 2019 general elections. I'm not going to talk about it because I believe people before me, today's quest, today's also probably must have flogged that issue. And that issue, I strongly believe, has been dealt with. Well, but look at just in passing. Hey, just look at it. Crime rate declining. IG claims. And I really do wish I could talk about this. I really do wish we could really do this. But hey, let's just leave it at what it is. Let's believe, I'm looking at the report and the IG is reading out facts or statistics that, people arrested in Kaduna, people arrested in Zamfara, people arrested in Katsina, Nasarawa, Taraba State, and a lot of people, by the way, all of them said to be suspects. 101 persons in Kaduna, 424 people in where's that? Still in Kaduna. A lot of people arrested. People who were said to be bandits and kidnappers and all of the rest. But then it's really, why that did catch my attention is crime. I should be happy. I am happy. I am celebrating that crime finally is reducing, and that will mean that foreign investment can begin to come. Even before the foreign investments, the big boys in the Nigerian society can now begin to invest in Nigeria because now there is security. A little brouhaha in Ozoba community, and I hear that place became a ghost town. Who would go and open this shop? Who would go and sell pepper when they know that the place is volatile? So that's the thing, investment begins to flow, the economy of that state begins to thrive, and Nigeria in return begins to thrive, and those places where food is produced, farming and all the likes are done, will now make food becoming bountiful in Nigeria. So I'm happy. But the question is crime really reducing in Nigeria? Is crime really reducing? Is crime really reducing? Go back to Ozoba. Do you feel safe? Is crime really reducing? Every day we hear one thing happened. Gunshots here, gunshots there. The police is doing their best. I do agree with them. The police is doing their best. I do agree with them. When the IG came out the other time to say they are overwhelmed, they are overstretched, I still agree with them. I still agree with him, rather. Poorly weaponized, poorly motivated, and I agreed with him as well. The police is doing the much that they can, even though we see some of them, some of them portraying themselves as the bad eggs. And by the way, have you noticed that, talking about the police, that we barely find them on the street? I don't know, it's just my observation. Correct me if I'm wrong. But we barely find them on the streets of Port Harcourt standing on the road, collecting tithes and offering. I'm wondering maybe the ministry has moved on to some permanent site, even though I did see along that Aruk Road in Rumigbo today. I was passing there. I did see a couple. I saw some policemen in an unmarked vehicle standing on the road and searching, doing stop and search. I don't know what they're reading. They were not collecting tithes and offerings, by the way, but they were doing stop and search nonetheless. Maybe they had some sort of intelligence. But Have you seen them standing on the road? I guess you haven't as well. I guess you haven't. Maybe you have. I don't know. You tell me. I stand to be corrected, but that's just my observation. So yeah, the police been doing, they've been trying their best. Once upon a time, you did hear the team from the Inspector General Monitoring Unit, caught this person, special anti-robbery squad, caught this person, special anti-kidnapping squad, caught this person. And it's been some wonderful work done by the police force. What is crime? Is crime really reducing? Is crime abating? Is crime being curbed? Is crime being reduced to the barest minimal in Nigeria? Come back to Rivers State. I told you we will be focusing on, on Rivers State. We'll be looking at some of the insecurity or some of the activities that is ongoing, that is happening in Rivers State. I talked about it yesterday. People called and people talked and people gave their opinions and said, oh, the youths could have handled it better. And that's unutilized, by the way. But something has really caught my attention in Rivers State. And it has to do with vigilantes now taking up the security structure in Rivers State. Not like legally taking up the security structure, but these vigilante groups now lead the fore. They now lead the fore when it's when it's time to fight insecurity, when it's time to go head on head with these bandits and kidnappers and oh my God, I'm under the weather already. Kidnappers and what they call them now, all bunkers and militants and cultists. I mean, one time I was the one on the show. I think I was on the afternoon show. I can't recall. I was praising OSPAC. I was shouting, OSPAC, intelligence, so much intelligence. That's they disguise themselves. And then they went and they caught those boys, the kidnappers that were trying to kidnap. They caught all of them. I clap for them. You clap for them. Many people say, OSPAC should be expanded to the 23 local government areas. Governor, yes, that your neighborhood watch that you sign. Make sure that, you tailor it. You look at OSPAC and tailor your own like that so that all the local government will have. Or some people say OSPAC should go to the various local government. They should extend. They should expand. They should have branches. On Friday, to be precise, OSPAC, God power. I keep calling it God's power. God power Okoro. Easy God power Okoro was talking on radio or talking to some media, some journalists, media personnel, and he came out and he said that going to Ikore local government area to help fight crime will not affect the activities in Onelga, that they are well equipped. They have the required manpower to expand their activities to all the local government areas. And we saw them, of course, in Ikore when they were about entering Ikore. And why the Ikore people, the Ikore local government people invited them was because they had done some miracles according to reports in the MOR local government area. Pardon me there. But now, if you're listening to the 6 o'clock news, if you had listened, I don't know, maybe you had listened, you would realize that in our bulletin we had a story that sounded like this. We had a story that said the vigilante group of Nigerians called on security agencies, political and stakeholders to be mindful, underline that, and investigate, underline that as well, some individuals who parade themselves as vigilante members. The VGN also criticized those patronizing untrained local security outfits, underline that again, which they claimed was dangerous to the society in the fight against insecurity in Rivers State. Going forward, he said these people, the state commandant of the vigilante group of Nigeria said that these people were untrained and, because of their lack of training, because of their lack of diplomacy, because of their lack of knowledge, might end up becoming a terror, becoming a mayhem, becoming a source of chaos in Nigeria. So imagine we say no, we will not use these boys again, that the police will now be the people we want to really equip. Then these boys, remember, they have weapons. What would they now do with those weapons? They will now fight us back. Really, some of you said it's the vigilante that we need. They know the community very well. They know. So if, let's say they know, don't you think that maybe we should, inculcate these people into the police force so that, they are being backed by law and we can easily trace them and dismiss them when they go against the law? IGP says crime is reducing, declining. Then why do we need the vigilantes in the first place? Why do we need the vigilantes in the first place if crime is indeed declining? Well, hold on a bit. I'm going somewhere. I'm just trying to build a momentum here. All of these stories linking to each other is only helping me build my momentum, because the main talk for this night, still on security in River State, is this.
Yeah, my deputy had to pay the government. They gave money one of the hospitals, they have 50,000. The other people, the other sport, the main people that arrested me were not there. So they came, they said they should take all of us to home. I don't want to come and bail us. They should come over there. And they don't have time again. They took all of us to, send us to that on Wednesday night, around 7 o'clock, let me say 7 to 8, they called all of us at the other team number. Some from Image, the other ones are from there. They appointed 3 persons out. They should put us back inside. Now we are innocent. Then my deputy had to pay the government. They gave money one of the hospitals. They have 50,000. The other people, the other sport, the main people that arrested me were not there. So they came, they said they should take all of us to home. I don't want to come and bail us. They should come over there. And they don't have time again. They took all of us to, send us to that on Wednesday night, around 7 o'clock, let me say 7 to 8, they called all of us at the other team number. Some from Image, the other ones are from there. They appointed 3 persons out. They should put us back inside. Now we are innocent.
Interesting. So now the Onelga Security and Peace Advisory Committee has come under criticism over alleged arrest and detention of individuals in Rundele community, area of River State. One of the victims of the arrest, Louis Alete Dingpa, said he was among the 10 persons arrested by members of OSPAC in a pub in his community, which they claimed was along East-West Road. Alete Dingpa said he and other victims were first taken to an uncompleted building at Rumiji before they were moved to OSPAC Barrack at Omoko. But let's just say, we need to hear from both sides. We need to hear from the other side of the divide. We decided to get the voice of the commander of OSPAC and have him react to all of these allegations. And he said, that OSPAC carries out its operations with security agencies.
Of course, we used to hand over to security operatives, except those who had encounter with us, those who had encounter in terms of exchange of tickets. These are the ones who come out. So we don't go to any side with us. The involvement of the security agents, we must be aware of it.
All right, so the security agencies are aware of it. The security agencies are aware of it. So all of